So there are two ways that stocks can be quoted. We can use a fractional system or we can use a decimal system. So prior to 2001, when U.S. regulators required U.S. stock markets to use the decimal system, prices and stocks used to be reported in fractions, specifically 1/16. Why a 16th? Why use this fractional system? Well, the system was based on the Spanish trading system made popular in the 1600s, which used fractions, not decimals. Why did they do this? Because Spanish traders used gold doubloons, which were split in halves, quarters, and eighths. So an eighth, or 1 divided by 8, is 12.5, or 12.5 cents. Now, later, the New York Stock Exchange moved to sixteenths. Why? Because when you use eighths, prices can only have to change by as much, or can change only as little as 12.5 cents. When they moved to sixteenths, the change could be smaller. It could be 6.25 cents. So suppose you have a quote in fractional terms. How do you convert it to decimal format? Suppose you have decimal format. How do you convert it to fractional format? Now, you can simply just do the division. So if you happen to know that it's $20 and 3/16, you just take 3 and divide it by 16, and you add that fraction to the $20, and that's your quote. Okay? Or you can take advantage of Google Sheets, which has a function that does this. So the function is going to be $DE, and you're going to put in the fractional number, and this number 30.05 doesn't mean $30.05. It means 30 and 5/16. And then we're going to put in the fraction, which is 16, and we get 30.3125, or $30.3125. Now, if you take 5 and divide it by 16, you'll get 0.3125. So you could do it this way, and that's not that hard to do, but actually if you had a series of numbers, say you have some historical data from prior to 2001 when quotes were in fractional format and quoted like this, taking advantage of this function would be quite nice. If you had a series of years of data and you wanted to convert it to decimal value, it would be much easier to use this function and just copy the formula down. Suppose you happen to have the decimal format. Okay, 45.875, so $45.87.5. Let's convert it to the fractional value. So there's also a function for this. This is $FR for fraction. And we put in the dollar amount or dollar value. Then we put in the fractional value and close up the parentheses, and we get 45.14. So that means 45 and 14/16. Okay, you could reduce that fraction to 7/8, and 7 divided by 8 is 0.875. So again, these are actually kind of useful. If you were just converting one number, just doing the division yourself is probably not that big a deal. But if you happen to be converting a series of numbers, some historical data, and they're quoted in fractional format, then taking advantage of this function would be actually quite useful.